Today in this video, Korea got one of the best patches throughout the history, not just my opinion. Other Korean streamers, a lot of them, invent people are saying that. Alright, first one, let's go over the trust system. So trust system is something, if you don't have enough, then you get more taxed when trading with people. Whenever you mail or personal trade, then your trust decreases. And by the way, the trust point decreases only from the sender's side. The receiver doesn't get decreased. Whenever you sink gold to the game, like honing, etc., there's a lot of things, right? Then your trust point increases. For each 1 gold sink, it increases 1 trust point. And for each bound 1 gold sink, it increases 0.1 trust point. It does not specify how much it decreases when you trade though. It only specifies how much it increases. How much is your initial trust point though? It depends on how high your item level and the karma level is. I'm not sure if this is including all the character in the roster or just highest character. So if I show you mine, you can check this in your mail. Then this is the trust point. I have 8.6 million. When I checked Benji and Saint Tony, Benji had 20 million and Saint had 2.6 million. By the way, the 5% tax that we had is applied as usual. And the below trust system that I'm going to cover works additionally on top of it. For mailing and personal trading, the new trust system imposes 25% tax rate of the lacking trust compared to the amount of gold you're trading. This is kind of hard to understand, right? Let me give an example. If I want to mail or trade 5,000 gold, but my trust is only 1,000, then what is the gap between this and this? It's 4,000, right? 25% of the gap, which is 1,000 gold, gets taxed. Another example. If I want to mail 1 million gold, but let's say my trust is only 100k, then the gap is 900k, right? What is 25% of that? 225k gold gets taxed. Then what if the bus taker send an item like, some high level gem that's worth amount of that much bus fee, sending it to the busser? Because by reading this part, item trade seems like it's not getting hit. And the answer to that is yes, you're right. From this system, it does not prevent item trade. But Smallgate additionally made a comment in the patch note saying, aside the system, we will manually track the item trade. And if we see some of the trade has intention of returning or transferring gold, then we will hit you with the ban. 15-day, 30-day, or permaban, depending on how bad it is. So just don't do it, guys, unless you're sending it for a good reason. This will hit hard on busters, RM tiers, bots. Now let's go over to auction house. You can't overprice the items. Like they literally put a price limitation on each of the items. So a lot of busters or RM tiers, they trade with something like level 1 gem, right? So I'm going to try to add level 1 gem. Let's type 999. It automatically changes to the proper price. Something I want to experience is, how about accessory? I actually want to experience if there's a limit on here as well. So that's a non-polished 95 quality. There's a cap. Then the question is this. What about the ones that has good options? This one is a high-low accessory that I'm wearing. It does apply. The game immediately perceives the option and says you cannot go more than this much gold. Interesting. Lastly, the bid system. You can't overprice items just like auction house. This one, there's a specific figure. 500% of average price in recent 7 days on that item is the max limit. The 5% tax is applied to every bid regardless of amount of gold that's bid. Previously, if it went over 100k, the 5% tax kicked in, right? But now it applies to every amount of gold. For certain items, it does not apply this 500% limit. For example, MVP background. And another one is you can mail to other people from different servers as well. Of course, the trust system still applies regardless of which server, the people are. Let's go to the second topic, self-DPS meter. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a DPS meter on the right bottom side, automatically getting displayed. So I guess it's gonna work right away. It is going up. I don't know. I mean, it doesn't show properly, but something is going up. What I'm gonna show now is not the one from the Dractalis, but the one from the Act 3 G3. The short key to the meter is Alt period. And you can check the raid that you've done. And this is the Act 3 G3. Click it in detail. Then it shows on the first tab. First one is overall damage. Second one is DPS. Crit rate, 72%, shows the back attack rate, head attack, incoming damage, DR, amount of stagger. This is kind of weird. The stagger doesn't show as a proportion relatively, it shows as a fixed figure. 15.2k it says. That's weird. How many times you countered, how many times you just guarded, how many battle items used. Your synergy uptime. Okay, you might call me as a rat or, bozo by seeing my synergy uptime 58, but there's another thing you have to watch. This one says the actual proportion of your party synergy affecting your party, 98.42%. And for the last two, it shows your class specific stuff. This one says how many times you use the X skill on my pinnacle, and this one shows the uptime of my X. On the second tab, it shows in graph like this. On the second page here, this column says the proportion of off cooldown. It's not cooldown, it's off cooldown. The higher, it's better. So this means my T skill, 83% of the time, I clicked immediately as soon as the cooldown came back. That's what it means. The lower it is, it's bad. That skill has been goofing around. That's what it means. I'm not sure if West has this. We have this on meter. We don't, but it's interesting at least, sure. The third tab is supporters graph. It's not something like your supporter in your party's, info. If you're playing a supporter, then you watch this part. That's what it means. Not here. This is DPS. This is where the supporters watch. That's why it's empty for me. Now, last tab is timeline. It shows the sequence of the skills that you've been using as a timeline, and it shows the graph of the overall damage, white line, and DPS, orange line. And here, there are some eye emotes. If I hover, it shows when you use the battle item. It says Dark Grenade and Atropine. This one says when you succeeded the guard. So these info get stacked, right? You can save them by clicking the save button here. Then it gets added to here like that. I didn't look forward to the meter because I thought that he's gonna add something that's really scuffed, that doesn't have, core system, because he likes hiding the info since he was kind of scared of losing people, right? But surprisingly, he added pretty much all those stuff. Just the difference is you can only see your info in KR. On the other hand, West can see everyone, right? Real time. I think someone in Korea is also gonna make a API site just like in the West, and then start recording this data. Sadly, you cannot export the data. There's no export option, but I'm pretty sure that is not gonna stop people from making the API site. It's still doable once people start to share an image of their meter. Lastly, if I roughly go into an Invent's reaction, in general, a lot of people are happy. I saw some of the Lost Ark streamers streaming. Their title was saying one of the best patch in the history. Just some, few people are mad about the trust system part. Some of them are turning out to be actual Rice Eaters XDD. Anyways, that's all for this video. Thank you so much. Let me know your thoughts, and hope you guys have fun on your Paradise patch. Stay Giga Chat, spam load it. I'll be there too. I have NA East account, bro.